All right, guys, here we are. Thanks for joining the Duranafy channel tonight. The special guest is Buckeye Drones here, Rick Williams, and he's going to be talking about the Air 3. But let me get started by welcoming Jenna and Brad here. How are you guys?
Hey, how's it going? Good.
Yeah, no, good, Al. It's Monday. Looking forward to the end of the week already.
Really?
Yeah.
That rough of a Monday, right?
Well, that and when you dangle a holiday on Monday at the end of Friday, I look forward to Friday.
Yeah,
That's
that's
so
true.
true.
We got
Big
a
weekend coming up, right? Labor Day?
Yep,
3 day
yep,
weekend for me. Yeah.
yep. Not 4 day.
Oh, yeah, for you 4 day. Oh well.
Yeah, yeah. That's yep,
Yep, that's sweet.
yep.
Well, seeing how I was off on Monday of last week, I try not to take another day off, which would have been Friday to make a 4 day weekend. But that weekend at Minefield was ended up being a 4 day weekend for me, so that was pretty nice.
Talking about Minefield, I know we wanted to kind of, showcase some of the stuff we did there and kind of, featured, the people that we enjoyed hanging out with, which was so much fun, right, guys? I mean, the fellowship there, Rick, unbelievable, right?
Yeah, it was. I mean, that's the best part. I mean, it's always good to get to fly, but it, it it's so much better just visiting and sometimes you finally put a face to a name and it's good to meet everybody like that.
Really is. And I know this event, I actually had the pleasure of spending a little bit more time with you, especially with when you were flying the A3. That I guess that was Friday night. We were looking at the capabilities of the night shots. Um,
Yeah,
so that was really fun. I mean, really,
yeah. I'd only had the Air 3 about a week, so got to fly a little bit around home before I headed to Minefield. And but that was at Minefield was the first time that I tried the night mode on it, and I was very impressed with it.
me too. From looking at just the 1K display you had there, obviously, you remember when we were looking at the stats on the video recorded? What was that recorded at? Do you remember?
The you mean like the all that there? I believe it is uh 30 frames a second. I
It
believe
was 4K 30, correct?
4K 30, right? Right.
Yeah, and this is came out super nice. So
It's
guys, we're
really,
gonna
yeah, really nice.
yeah, really
Yeah,
nice.
and so yeah, I mean I'm happy with this one, but shoot, now his name slips my mind, but from Kentucky. Um,
Oh, you're talking.
E-drones, it'll come to you. Just go ahead, and keep going.
yeah, but so he flew Saturday night, and he has a video up also of the night mode with the Air 3,
Was it
and
Bob Casey?
Bob
Oh,
Casey.
Bob.
Yes.
Oh, Bob.
And
Yeah, yeah.
sorry, Bob.
Hey, Kentucky Bob, we're
But
calling Kentucky Bob now.
yeah, Bob. Yeah, he has one up also. So go to his channel and check it out. It is very
Okay.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah. This almost has to be like the best structure to like fly or test something with night mode, just with the lights and the, the architecture of it. I mean, it's really going to show the resolution of anything that's taking a picture.
Yeah.
It's very
oh,
nice.
True.
agreed,
Yep.
agreed. That thing is just fantastic. Just from what I've seen, everybody. So, have you had a chance to play with any of the autonomous modes, Rick? Any waypoints? Any of those kind of features?
Well, so I haven't done anything with the waypoints yet. I know that the one that I have played with and that I enjoy quite a bit is the cruise control. Now
Oh,
I know the
for
cruise
hyperlapse too? Yeah.
I know the cruise control is also available on the Mavic 3, but I had never used it on there, and I've been using that the last week or so. And I tell you what, that is I love it because you don't have to worry about am I maintaining the same speed, am I maintaining the same height. And I can just focus on what the gimbal's doing and what I'm looking at.
Mm-hmm.
So that's I
Mm-hmm.
am enjoying that.
Did you, hey Rick, did you do that with your video for the Flowers Plantation Waterfront District? Is that what you used in that on that video?
So that was the Air 3, yes. But that
Let me.
was, but I didn't use any automatic modes. I mean,
Oh,
camera was automatic, but it was all manual flying. But that was such a big area. It's it's easier to fly manually, and you don't have to. You miss the little minor corrections.
True.
right.
And one thing that it's really nice about that cruise control is too, if you wanted to speed up your video in post, it will probably look pretty normal in
Yeah,
flight. Like that shot you had going in the middle of nowhere, it's just perfect because there's no kind of aspect, or not aspect ratio, but the comparison is something moving like a car going ultra fast or somebody walking fast.
yeah.
So, Rick, does cruise control work in all three modes, like city, normal, and sport?
You know, I believe so, but I don't. I've only tried it in normal mode, so I'm not sure. I think my understanding of that cruise control, whatever inputs you have on the sticks. I mean, say you're slowly uh, rising in altitude and going forward. It just whatever input is on the sticks when you hit cruise control, it just keeps doing that same thing.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
if you're changing the altitude, you need to be aware of that, or, because it's either going to keep climbing until it reaches that limit, or if you're doing a descent, it'll just keep on going down until, well, I mean, the obstacle avoidance will obviously take over, but
So that does stay on during the whole cruise control.
yes,
Okay, cool. That's good to know. Well, Al and I were talking about that, I think, yesterday, wondering whether, or the day before, we were wondering whether or not in some of those modes that the obstacle avoidance stays on. So, like I don't know, does it stay on at all the modes, or is it just select ones?
well, now so like in sport mode, the obstacle avoidance is turned off because the drone's
Right, sport mode is
right.
right.
But in now and also in night mode. I mean, if there's not enough light for the obstacle avoidance sensors, so there's no obstacle avoidance in night mode either.
Right, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Let me digress back a little bit and kind of we were talking about that cruise control. I actually 3D printed these things out that actually, if I can get this thing to focus, you you snap it into the stick here with that half moon, and then you
oh,
turn the
okay, yeah,
screw, and then it pushes, and then you move this the direction you want it to fly, and then once you screw it in there, it locks into place.
yeah,
So you can have a compound move. You could be, yawing and doing lateral flights at the same time. And so that gives you kind of like, I don't know, kind of wonky, different kind of look, right?
yeah. I know. Though you mentioned the waypoints earlier. That's one I want to practice with and learn to do a little better, or well, really at all, learn to do it at all because there's a lot of long-term construction in my area, and I'd like to be able to set up a flight path and then go back and redo it once every 3 months or something. And
And not only that, Rick, the season is always good for that one too.
yeah,
Yeah.
The other way you could use it too, if you're doing a lot of camera comparison, you could every time you start your flight, you could just say, "Hey, this is 4K 30, 4K 60, manual mode, and blah blah blah, camera settings," and then boom, let it go, and then redo that same flight path to compare your settings. See
yeah,
which one you prefer, because the settings are so subjective. So we have a lot of people joining us. Hey, John Coopy, we have One
Yep,
Vision. Dustin's here, and,
Dustin. Yeah,
let's see, Barkley's here. Hey, Barkley.
Johnny's here. Johnny Drone Flyer.
Hey,
Yep.
Barkley, my head recovered, by the way, if you're wondering.
Yeah. We go back, Rod. I don't know if you said it. Rod's here. Hot Rod in Daytona.
Oh, Hot Rod's here. Keep going,
Yep.
Brad. I missed
Yep.
a bunch of people.
you already said it, Barkley, John. We got Dustin. We got Scott, Jackrabbit. We've got going all the way back as far as I can go. We got who else was it? Somebody I missed. Oh, Mark White's in the house. How you doing, Mark? Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, it was great. Last weekend was amazing, and just it was nice to meet new people. John Coopy, it was great to meet you. He was there, and had a friend with him. I think his name was Jim. I think Jim was with him, and then also met Dustin face to face.
Mm-hmm.
That was nice.
Yep.
And he actually, I was just looking. I got, you don't have to make me large or anything, but he gave me a sticker, and he's got a little drone keychain and a little Ziploc he gave me. That was pretty cool. And there was a bunch of people there I had never met before. So a whole bunch of FPVers that I really didn't even spend any time with. Stayed, messing around around the truck. It was a little warm at times, of course, and we all were kind of staying in the shade, trying to stay cool. But it was fun.
It was.
Yeah, it was fun. It was totally so much fun.
Yeah, and I want to give a shout out to I think it's Livingston's. Was that the name of the restaurant we went to Saturday night?
Yes, it
Yeah.
was
So
very
yeah,
That was good.
a local, I think, family restaurant. We come in there at, I don't know, 8 o'clock at night, 13 of us, and they set us right away. The service was excellent. The food was quick. It was good.
Don't forget the malt shop, man. That
Oh, the malt shop, they put us in our own little private room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's every time we go to Minefield, we got to hit up.
That is definitely the reservation place for sure. Set up.
Yeah.
Well, listen, guys, I wanted to feature Rick's channel. If you haven't done it already, haven't visited Rick's channel yet, yeah, you should come check out his channel, guys. So here's Rick's channel, and here's the latest video we're discussing in night modes. And see, here's the flower plantation and the Cary Tennis Park. And Cary also has some really good soccer teams around that area. As you know, they have the North Carolina Courage soccer team there. There's a professional women's soccer team. Yeah, so super nice area, guys. If you've never been there, and if you're driving by, give Rick a shout. Tell him you're there. And yeah, as you can see, I have not subscribed to Rick's channel, so I am going to do it right now. There it is.
I just put the link in the chat, so when y'all have a moment, either during or after the show, preferably after the show, spend some time over there and watch a couple videos and set set yourself up so that YouTube doesn't use the algorithm to take you and unsubscribe you at some later point. I'm hearing more and more stories of people having that happen to them.
So you can see he has 334 subscribers and 91 videos. So let's help him out, guys. Let's get him up there. Okay.
And Al, that banner picture or whatever, that was from the South Florida drone meet.
Oh yeah, wasn't that something? Let me go back there. I'm sorry, I clicked on it.
Oh yeah, that's pretty cool. I didn't even notice that, Rick, until just now.
Yeah, nice.
And somebody's trying to catch it. Oh, that's TJ trying to catch it.
TJ. Yeah.
Air 3.
Yeah.
And to the left over there, looks like somebody's
I think
maybe
right
doing a bio
behind.
break, but it's not really a bio break. I think they got a controller in their hand.
almost looks like you, Al.
Touche. All right, so let's check out Rick's video. This is what we were all interested in. Is this one here, guys?
Yeah, so I'll try to. So this is where I work. I went early one morning before sunup, and I was trying to the differences between the Air 3 and the Mavic 3. Now I have the original Mavic 3 with just the two lenses, but both of them in night mode. And then this is a screenshot of the controller on how to put it into night mode. So you go to video, it comes up in normal. You'll hit the right there where it says night. You'll see me hit that. And then the film strip will change to the crescent moon up there. And then you're in night mode with video. So I think this one here is the Air 3 to start with.
Yeah.
And the interface is exactly the same, isn't it, Rick? I mean, both controllers are the same.
Yes, yes, both controllers are the same. And then there's the Mavic 3. Now, you know,
Wow, nice.
yeah, I tell you, and then there they are side by side. There's a you could say that the Mavic 3, now this is my opinion, is a hair better, but
I
I'm telling you,
agree.
for the price difference um, between
Is
those two drones. I
uh,
mean, you're the Air 3 with the Fly More combo, you're looking at 1550. That Mavic 3 with the Fly More combo, you're looking at 3,000. I mean, it's basically half the price that Air 3, and unless you're an expert, uh, it's hard to tell the difference in the quality.
yeah. I mean, I'm not sure the squeeze is worth the juice on that. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
I mean,
Agreed.
I mean, I could tell the difference on what you were when you put that Mavic 3 camera up. I was like, wow, that was really yeah. And looking at the
Now, I flew the Mavic 3, the second drone. So, it was like 15 minutes later, a little bit more light as the sun was coming up type thing. So, I mean, that helped it also. But I mean, it does have, it's a bigger sensor. It does do a little bit better, but I don't know that in my opinion, it's not worth
1,500,
twice the price.
yeah,
Yeah.
1,500 more, and that's just the starting point. After that, you got to buy all the filters and all that
Well,
too.
and then the other thing is with the OcuSync 4 on the Air 3, the
Yeah,
signal, you don't lose any signal when it's close by, and you worry about, well, you've gone behind the trees or you're behind this building or something. There's no breakup. It is fantastic.
there's a couple things that kind of came to mind when I was watching your video, and one, before this one slips my mind, is penetration, right? So I thought Barwell was ingenious, but he's like, look, I'm not going to do a range test to show you how far it goes, but we're going to do a penetration test to see how
Yeah,
well it does, through the parking lot, through the trees, which is more of what we would encounter. Let's say you were standing behind one of those structures, so you
Hmm.
were trying to look at, or, behind a mountain, trying to get to the other side to see if you got something to go hike for or something like that. You know what I mean?
right, right.
I think that would be more of a real world test than the range test that we normally perform to see how well things go. I mean, but you got to admit, there's some kind of romantic thing about flying the thing as far as you can and coming back safely. You know what I mean? I don't know what it is, but it is. Okay, and the other thing that jumped out, Rick, and this was there was slow mo in the video mode. So you had night mode and the next menu
Yeah,
down, slow
is
mo.
slow mo. Now, actually, I have not played around with slow motion at all.
Is that for K120?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Is that 4K 120?
Uh,
Maybe it's
I
1080
don't, I
240?
don't, I don't think it's 4K. I think when you go to slow mo 120, I think it drops it back to 1080. I'm not certain on that.
We can pull up the stats. Which one's gonna? We'll have a race. Who can come up
Something.
with the stats first?
I'm on DJI right now.
Bring your Brad was. You
So
ready?
we're
You
looking
ready
at
to
the
go
Air
first?
3
Share the
specs, right?
Hot,
screen, please.
well, no, Hot Rod says it's 4K 100
Oh,
in the
At
chat.
is it?
120,
Okay.
4K 120, right? Is that
And
what he said?
then I
Well, I
think the
thought it was 4K
He
312
meant to say
120.
120. Yeah.
yeah, is
Yeah,
4K
yeah,
120. Thank you.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So 120. I mean, if you look at the GoPros, they're shooting a 4K 240. If you're looking to compare, so if you're looking to get like ultra fast stuff, maybe I don't know. Why would you use I don't know. I was thinking GoPro, strap a GoPro to it, but I'm like, why would you do that?
Oh, I see what he was saying. The Air 3 is a 4K 100 frames per second. The Mavic 3 Pro is 4K 120. So the Air 3 is not quite as capable on the 4K side.
You think it was a marketing decision or a hardware limitation?
I don't know. I think it's more marketing because they don't want to give it the same specs as the Mavic 3 Pro.
I know when I worked
They
at Silicon Graphics and Dell, we used to do that all the time. The engineers would hand the stuff over to marketing, and marketing would say, make this a option and take it out. We're going to sell it for a fee.
this has been going on in our world since before we were born. They design things, the full spectrum of something or the specs of something they get top dollar for. But if they want to be in the market of the people that can't afford that, they just drop the specs back or dumb it down a little bit, I guess is what they used to say. And we all know this. I mean, like TVs back when LCD and LED TVs were coming out, you could buy a high end one for $3,000 when it first came out, and then a couple months later you could buy an equivalent TV for about a third the price, and it was the same TV, it just was branded differently. I remember hearing those stories lots when I was growing up, and still hearing them to this day. I mean, I guess it's like anything. Firmware controls a lot of the stuff on our drones, right? So the hardware is there, just whether or not DJI wants to give it to us.
And Brad, that's a good point. I mean, I think that's one of the things that's really going to be a differentiator as we get, just because the technologies, I mean, are they going to top out more or less at some point? Like on these drones, and then the firmware, what it can do, the ease of what it can do it. I mean, is that what is going to kind of maybe drive like the next generation of these?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a certain limitation, right? We got chip technology can only go but so far before they have to change it. They've been talking about that for years.
Right.
The level of the size of the the pieces to a chip. I mean, you can't go but so far before it's got to change to some other type of material. Making things smaller and smaller and more capable and more powerful means more heat, more dissipation you need. There's just so many factors involved, and I'm no electronics wizard by far, but I know there's a certain limitation for everything. They just need to change it to a new technology is what they do. They just evolve it into something else. At least that's my opinion.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I mean, chips are chip. They're only going to go so small.
Right. I see. Oh, hey, welcome, Joe Fodoleo. He's in the house.
Yep.
I want to say, I was waiting to see if he was going to show up because, Joe, are you missing something like this right here? Because, wait a minute. It says Joe Fodoleo, Channel 1. I don't know. I have no idea how I got this, but we had hang tags on the frequency board, and somehow or another I picked this up. I don't know where it came from, Joe. Sorry, but I have another one, but it's blank. Sorry, Joe.
Alexis is in the house, and so she's got.
Hey, Alexis.
Yeah, she says, wait till we're flying drones on Mars. We are actually flying drones on Mars.
Yes, we are.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we are. Yeah, and they're actually very big drones too.
Yeah, those are drones.
Deadly drones.
Yeah, I mean, technology is going to keep going. I mean, yes, there are limitations, but we're only limited to, I guess, our imaginations. Is that wrong to say? I don't know. I guess materials is going to be our limitations, or what materials we don't have, we're going to have to make, fabricate like we've always done in the world that we live in.
Yeah.
So,
But you think about it, how far we have come in the last 10 years.
I was going to say in our lifetime, but just in the last 10 years, you're right, Rick. Yeah, We've come a long ways in 10 years, 20 years. I mean, I've seen. I mean, I don't know, since I came out of high school, I don't mind telling people I graduated in '82, so I'm 59 years old. I have seen so much in my lifetime that it's just been an explosion in technology, and who knows what's to come beyond us? You know, who knows?
Well, now with the AI being cut loose in the world, it
Yeah,
should.
that might be the end. That might be the end of us.
Well, it's going to be like a exponential catalyst, to really
Yeah.
kick everything in the ass. But yeah, we got a good bunch of folks here. Thanks for coming by.
Hmm.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Good.
So,
Well, what?
go ahead, Brett.
Go ahead, Al. Oh, I was going to say, Al. I mean, are you still considering the Mavic 3, or you now kind of leaning back towards the Air 3? If I remember some of our conversations recently.
Yeah, because then I could buy my electric bike too. You know what I mean? He ended up with
Electric bike, not
yeah.
a scooter, right?
Not a scooter.
Uh,
I didn't want to go there, Rick.
well, I'm definitely
Barkley
going to
might
invest.
call it out in the chat. No scooters for Al.
I'm going to invest in a better helmet too.
Rick,
Or wait a minute. Wait a minute. Invest in a helmet. Maybe you should wear a helmet.
You're biting your finger there. What do you got to say?
I was gonna say it's either that, Rick, or Al. I mean, he can drive your scooter too.
Yeah, I think what I learned from that situation is to leave mine at home.
I like it. Barkley might end up doing the same.
Right?
Well, I know one thing. We're all, and Barkley said it first thing, and everybody said it. We're just glad you didn't get hurt any worse than you did, Al. Because if you'd have been on the pavement, that would have been messy.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that would have ruined your
Yeah.
vacation too.
Well, it would have been bad for you for sure. But we're just thankful you didn't get hurt. And so that's what Barkley said the whole time, and that's what everybody was saying. I mean,
Yeah,
the scooter can be fixed, it can be replaced, but you can be fixed as well. But at to a certain point.
Oh yeah, I'm not sure I could ever be fixed. That's for sure.
All right, we'll stop harping on that right now.
Okay. All right. Anybody have pictures to share? My drive with all my stuff on it is not
I
coming
got a
on.
picture of your forehead.
Oh, you did? Oh no. We should get off that topic.
Sorry, I was going to leave that alone. I'll leave it alone.
Barkley's got a good one. He came over to me and snapped the picture. He go, "This is for my lawyer." I was like, "Oh, thanks for planting the seed, idiot."
He did. And Barkley was over there, and he did ask me. He said, "You think I ought to take a picture of Al's face and head?" I said, "Yeah." And that's when he ran
I went
over
in the
there.
bathroom, Rick, and I looked at myself and I went, "Turn around, left, man."
Everybody in the chat.
Monday, Jenna, on Monday, it was a bloody mess because by then everything was, and I was just trying to keep ointment on it so it wouldn't solidify, because then it looks even worse. And it scars too. So I just gelled up. That looked like some guy had never taken a shower.
Well, I think, Al, I don't know if do you want me to show one picture I got the day after?
Sure.
Hold on. That's your forehead the day after. You'd already cleaned up. So I mean that was that one.
Looks good.
Yeah. But the important thing is he's still smiling.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll tell you what, that was a fun event, man. It was so much fun. It was freaking hot though.
Oh, it was hot.
I'm telling you, next year, everybody bring one of those power packing freaking fans. Maybe we can make our own cyclone.
It was nice. I know John's in the chat. I think he brought that fan over to the table and plugged it into my portable battery generator, and I was walking in front of that every once in a while. I felt pretty good. Oh
Look,
yeah,
John, I'm
John
sorry about making us wait 5 minutes and you having a heart attack about your glasses.
John was running around, yeah, having a heart attack looking for the
I was
glasses.
flying. I was flying. And I had like two glasses stuck in my shirt because I was like, everybody's cleaning up and I was trying to get my last shot in. So I didn't want my glasses to go flying. So I just like grabbed them, stuck them in my shirt right here. And then I'm flying, and then who was it? It was Michael Wright comes by. Hey Al, you got two pair of glasses on you. And I looked down and I go, John. I go, you have good taste. Look at these and look at mine. And they were exactly the same. I put his on. I go, oh my gosh, dude, you can't see anything. He goes, I know. I can't even see. You know, we were standing like next to Brad's truck, and he goes, I can't even read Brad's license plate.
Hey, let me throw something out here to Jackrabbit. He keeps I think he's trying to razz me or get me going in the chat, but this is new. I can't do two things at once here. So I've been ignoring the chat. So I'll have to read it later and then get back with him.
Okay, okay. We can throw that one over the fence later. Okay. Oh, that's a good
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, John says thanks for everybody looking for his glasses. Yeah, we knew they would show up sooner or later, but yeah, where they were at, we until you came up, you know.
I'm so glad Michael Wright said that. But it took me like 10 seconds to sink in. Al, you have two pairs of glasses on your shirt. And I was like, I kept flying in, and all of a sudden I'm like, hey, did he just say that?
Well, it's funny. I had my readers, these right here, laying on the table at one point, and I thought maybe I couldn't find mine, but I had stuck them back in the truck. And then I thought they were John, so I went in there looking through my truck, and I thought maybe I had grabbed them and put them in my bag, but that was you came about a minute later after that.
Oh, okay. So Eric is E-Drones, right? And,
Yeah,
and
Eric.
yeah, E-Drone noticed that I had two pair of glasses. Yeah, John. I wasn't four eyes, I was six eyes.
What did Dustin say? Dustin said next year I'm bringing a roll of bubble wrap for Al.
Oh no! You bring a bunch of those, man. We could roll, bubble roll each other and run into each other. Oh,
Yeah,
that won't hurt anybody for sure.
that was really fun. Hey, and actually I got to, most of the drone events I go to, I do mostly this socializing, which I did a lot of it this time, but I actually got the Avata in the air
Oh, good.
for about 5 minutes. So Jimmy J and his son Jack, they were hanging around with us on the weekend or over the weekend. They left about midday Sunday, I think it was, mid-afternoon. But Jack, his son, was really interested in playing with goggles and the motion controller. And I said, well, you know what? If we can find time and I can get my name up on the board with the hang tag. And I could never figure out how to change the channel on my Avata goggles, the Integra goggles. And then I found out if you're not in manual mode, you can't do that with the motion controller. So anyway, I took them over to the cemetery, which was, behind the field where everybody was camping and flying with fixed wing and other things, and where you crashed out. But I took them back there and let them fly the Avata for a few minutes. Each flew a battery, I think it was, and they really enjoyed it. So I for the first time, I got to fly something during an event.
I know you normally don't fly. You're Mr. Socialize.
Yeah, and I like it. I'm not complaining. I mean, if I don't get to fly, it's okay. My wife always asks me, "Why do you go to these things? You don't fly drones." It's because I talk to everybody. I hang out. It's my drone family. So.
But you also learn a lot too.
Yep.
I mean, like
about scooters and stuff like that. we can't leave that one alone. No, I hear you, Jenna. Jenna, keep going. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, but Channel 1, it was on the Integras, or when I was trying to fly the Nano School, and other people are, it's like, there's so many people just like stuck on Channel 1 and hardly anybody on like 2, 3, 4, 5. Sure. And like, that was a big issue. It's like, how do you change channels and how do I do this and how do I do that? And, I learned a lot. I mean, there too. So,
Yeah, there's a lot going on there. There was a lot of different flyers there. Again, a lot of them I didn't meet. Some of the FPB guys, they were really into it. That one guy I never met was one of the best flyers there. What was his name, Al? Had the dreads. I can't
Yeah,
remember what his name
He
was.
was from
he's
Atlanta.
family.
He flew like a madman. He was crazy good.
Crazy good
I,
as well.
I've never seen anybody fly like that, personally. I've seen videos, but he was great. Oh, hey, Mikey's in the house, Fly Zone Drones, I think. Fly Zone FPV. Did he change his name? Fly Zone FPV. Yep, that's Mikey, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Who else came in? Howdy, everybody. Thanks for stopping by. If we missed you in the chat, thanks for stopping by.
All right, I'm going to corral the cats again and get back on topic about the Air 3. So, what are the 3 accessories you would recommend to a beginner Air 3 flyer to purchase, Rick?
All right. Well, I think probably the first thing is you got to get a set of ND filters. That the aperture on that is fixed at 1.7, and if you're flying in the daylight, I think if you buy anything else, or the first thing to buy is the ND filters.
Yeah, I've
And
heard people say
what was
that
your
before.
second purchase?
Well, then and I mean it's I would go with the Fly More combo. I mean, I don't know if that's really that you're purchasing an accessory there, but I think that's with any of the DJI drones. You're going to find that you want more than one battery. They generally come with some type of case or something, some way to charge multiple batteries, even though it's one at a time. But yeah, just get the Fly More combo to start with. Get a set of ND filters.
Yeah,
I don't know if I have a third one yet.
I would. How about a case?
Well, that you get that with the Fly More combo. So,
Waterproof?
oh well, yeah, you could go with a nicer, like a hard case or something.
Yeah, it's something you can stand on and throw.
Well,
over
and I
the
guess so. The Air 3, I think this is the first one that even with the Fly More combo, you don't get the charging brick. So I get unless you already have some.
That's a good point because Brad was bragging about his latest brick that he said it was much better than the Vata brick, correct? At half the price or a third of the price,
What are you
right?
talking about? The charging
Yeah,
brick
the brick.
itself?
Yeah.
Yeah, the one I bought. I mean, the one the DJI was selling was $100, right, for 100 watts, or maybe they lowered the price or it was on sale. But I found an Apple 115 or 118 watts Type C output single Type C charger plugged into the wall, and it charges all 3 of my Avata batteries in 45 minutes per battery when they're all the way down to 20%. And if I don't use that and I use a regular 2.4 or whatever they are, the standard Type A to Type C chargers, it takes all night and then some to charge all 3 batteries. So that's one of my best purchases I've ever made.
And Joe has a good point here about using your existing, leverage for what you have. And if you happen to have a POS, leverage that brick to charge with because that's a beefy son of a gun there. And it's got 2 outstanding USB ports. Unfortunately, they're USB A, but they rock. I mean, they're really good.
Joe's got a good point right there with the POS charging brick. I think that thing puts out. I want to say that thing puts out more than 65 watts because I have one, but I can go get it. It's upstairs. It takes a few minutes. So, but I think that's a good point.
Yeah, well, and the thing that worked for me was so I'm an Apple guy, so I've got I got a MacBook Pro, and the latest or the charger that came with it is already a USB-C is the output of it, and it's 100%
I see. Hmm.
Right.
Yeah, it's a 100-watt charger that came with my laptop. So, I mean, you're using it double duty, but I already had it, right?
Right,
Well,
right. To leverage it. Why not?
that battery, that
Oh,
battery
okay,
backup,
right.
power bank that I brought with me, it had specifically on it one Type C output, PD output,
Yeah.
that was 65 watts, and I've used that to charge the Avata batteries, and it's 45 minutes per battery. So it sounds like to me that to charge the Avata batteries, and there's a theme going on here. The 65 watts is plenty. The 118-watt one that I have, the brick I just bought, is way overkill for it, but it still charges it in about 45 minutes. So there's somewhere the tipping point where you get the most bang for your buck with wattage output. I'm guessing 65 watts is it. I've tried charging at 40 watts, I think it was, and it took longer.
Mhm.
So it'd be cool to see, run a test on that with some different charging bricks to see where you get your most, where the tipping point is, I guess, where you get your most bang for the buck.
Yeah.
No, no, agreed, agreed. Yeah, so I mean, I would the first thing I would go would be the case, and then I would go for the ND filters, Rick, and then I normally go for some kind of uh, you know other protection or lighting system, um, and but the ND filters and case are a must for me, and batteries. Just a given to have extra batteries. So yeah, that's a good point to have batteries because I normally buy the 5 more combos.
Well, here's pose a question for you. The Air 3 batteries, I know they don't last as long as DJI says they do in real world, flying and hovering and all that. But that being said, I mean, people are still getting almost 40 minutes out of a battery. If you had 3 batteries, it seems like it'd be overkill if you're just a hobbyist. But for business, for commercial work and stuff like that, I'm sure it would come in handy doing waypoints like we talked about earlier, or some type of cruise control or something, or hyperlapses and stuff like that. It would be nice to have extra batteries.
Agreed.
That's why you have the drone, is to keep it in the air, and the only way you're going to keep it in the air is to have batteries.
That's true. That's true. And if I was going to answer the same questions, the first thing on my list is the batteries, because I don't have the Air 3. I have the Avata. Now have a POS Potato. Those batteries go down. Yep, Avata. I don't have anything. Avata. Um,
How about
I
you?
have the Air 2S, and the batteries last pretty good. I have the Mini 3 Pro. They last really good. But I mean, I always go for the Fly More kit. I like getting the soft bag, like Rick you were talking about earlier.
Mhm.
I don't. Did you get a bag with the Air 3?
Yes.
You did. Okay. I mean, I still like that when it comes to being able to make that whole setup compact and to be able to put it in something else that might protect it, like a piece of luggage, for instance, if you're going to keep an overhead bag with you on the plane or something, or backpack for that matter. You can just throw all of it in your DJI bag and then put it in another container, or just throw it on your shoulder for that matter. But y'all been talking about hard cases as well. I'm really enjoying the Avata hard case that I got from Start RC, and that's what I used for the minefield trip and carrying it. You throw it up in the back of the truck. Doesn't matter if it's laying outside. I mean, yeah, the heat is probably not good for it, but if it was in that soft bag, I'd be really worried about damaging something.
Yeah. Let's see. All right, let's talk about the damage that we encountered while flying this weekend. Jenna, did you break anything at all? I know I broke my head and a camera.
No, I didn't. If I had gotten a Nazgul up in the air, I probably would have broken that, but I didn't because Chris was working on my OSD, and when he was working on the OSD, he mapped turtle mode to aux1, and aux1 was actually my modes. So when I went to fly, it wanted to take off in turtle mode, which obviously it's not going to take off in turtle mode. So yeah, I flew it 2 days after that. I got on Beta flight and changed it all around. So no, but I went through the architecture, with the Avata. I went through the pipe that was up in the air with the
Yeah, you did.
Mm-hmm.
slowly, mind you, but I went through it. Yeah, but no, I didn't break anything. I just helped other people break a few things.
Well, how many times did you get knocked out of the air? I got knocked out of the air three times, and then I quit flying because
What?
the last time it scared me.
Yeah, once with the Avata, I was going over the structure. I was actually going towards the road, and it just, the screen just froze up completely.
Oh,
And then when I got it back, it was in return home mode, and it was coming back. And so,
that's
I
the advantage. See,
yeah,
when I black out, it doesn't go return home. It's a kill switch because
it
there's
it
so many.
returns. Yeah, it
Yeah,
returns to gravity, right? Returns to
yeah.
Earth.
Well, I basically kill it right there.
well,
Drop it down and kill it.
but that's part of the good thing about like the DJI like drones in essence. I mean, right? I mean, if I was flying a quad or something, and I mean, God knows where I would have gone.
Yeah, Dustin, I'm sorry to hear about you showed me your little whoop man. He got whited out, knocked out of the air, came down. He went to go get it, and somebody ran right over.
Yeah, I think that was actually the one that I found. It was in the parking lot for the grocery store, and somebody.
Yes, that's the
And
one.
it,
Right,
I mean, it took a tire hit. It was flat.
direct.
You
Yeah.
think that? I mean, that sounded like it might have been on purpose.
Well, it was a pretty small drone.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, but still, it really, really, could have been anything, and
it's,
more money for sure.
yeah.
John said it right there. Yeah, it's scary. I'm
Yeah,
sure. I'm glad I
and that's
wasn't
what
involved.
yeah, I quit flying. It scared the hell out of me because I was like, I'm going to hit some soft targets, and I was flying something like 600, maybe 700 grams. So it was going to hurt.
I
You
was,
know,
that's one of the reasons why I took the Avata back to the cemetery as well. I wanted to get away from everybody. I didn't want to, kick into anybody's frequency. The Avata, when the DJI kicks on with the goggles, it throws a burst all through all those channels, and it hits everybody that's up in the air. And at least that's what everybody tells me. I don't have FPV, so I wanted to make sure I was out of the way and not interfering with anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well, the thing is, the FPV guys were abiding by the channels, right? We were all like, I was putting my keys in the queue, and I was going up the queue, and I was okay,
Yeah.
cool, got my shot. But the DJI flyers were not. They were just plugging in and flying.
And that was it. And and Manny makes a really good point. An uncoordinated flight line is not a good thing, which means you have to have a coordinator. Which means if you have people who can't get on another channel or don't know how to get on another channel,
Right.
somebody there to help. We're all there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Well, John,
when you come to the Avata, you almost need to have a half an hour for the Avata folks only. You know what I mean? Because
yeah.
when the Avata plugs in and does a scan, oh my gosh, oh boom!
Yep.
And I think that's a good possibility to have most of us got whacked. Unfortunately, but it is what
Well,
it is.
I know when you and I flew with Rodney up at the church up his way, Colonial Beach area. When he would, shout out. The three of us were flying, maybe four of us, and if I was in the air, he would shout out, powering up, and then I would slow down to a nice flying with my Avata, and when he powered up, my screen would blink just for a second, even with his, because we were sitting next to each other.
Yeah, it's a big jolt, isn't it?
Yeah,
Boom.
so it's kind of scary even in that world, knowing, even though I have a DJI GPS drone, all I had to do was just let go of the sticks or the motion control, and it's just going to stop and hover. But it's still scary nonetheless.
Yeah, especially if you're going through one of those, real tight technical maneuvers, and all of a sudden you had no eyes. Yeah, it's over.
Yeah, Chris said, if you flew analog, it would die. He's right. I know they've got a conversation going on in chat. I probably missed out on some of it, but I understand what he's saying.
I've been trying to post the relevant ones here. Usually everybody's saying hello, but what's relevant to the conversation, I'll definitely post.
Yeah, that's a big topic we're on right now.
Well,
Yeah, and there should be an analog hour, should be a Nevada hour, and it should be like an hour for the racing guys. The freestyle
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think,
that might be a better way to do it. Yeah.
as these events, get bigger and more people are coming, you got to have some kind of organization, and
mhm.
it requires, like Jenna said, um, somebody who is a coordinator. That, I mean, that's what they're doing that day, is helping keep everybody safe and straight. And
And Chris tried at the end of the
yeah,
day. I mean,
Yeah.
he gave an outline of it, but like I think there needs to be a little bit more of a stricter guideline,
Enforcement.
what to do, the channels, how to power up, and I mean, it's even something for GGI to consider. The systems are getting more popular, is to have a setting or something like that when you power up next or whatever, power up in a particular mode or channel or manual or something. It's not rocket science in that regard.
No, it's just the bandwidth, right? So, but the plug-in is the hardest part. You know, that's the one. Brad. When you and I fly together, I'm always like, "Are you close? Get down low, get eyes on it. I'm plugging in." You
Yeah.
know, and
Yeah.
because I fly with like three other guys around here, and we're always careful of that because when you first start, you don't know what you don't know, and you start plugging in, and you knock somebody out of the sky and go, "What did you do?"
Yeah.
Well, I just plugged in.
Just even to have like a switch on the goggles or something, to have it in a certain mode, like a safe mode. And so if other people are flying, it won't interfere until you're ready to go.
And John Coopy makes a good point. A handout or signing an agreement. This is how we're going to operate. So basically, you could do an agreement, I guess, or just the guidelines. Please follow these guidelines instead of
Yeah.
doing an agreement. You can have guidelines, but
Yeah.
you
I
have
think.
to
I think.
agree.
Yeah. You just got to educate the people that just don't know. And I mean, I'm one of those people that just don't know, and that's why I didn't want to fly. And I respect everybody else's ability to fly, and I don't want to knock anybody out of the sky. So that's why I kept my bird down in the area anyway.
I think we all need to take a trip to DJI Techsport in California and have a tech class.
That'll work.
I mean, the biggest thing here is definitely put a DJI and cage it into, like John's saying, you got to corral them in a 2.4 bandwidth, and then everybody else is going to jump on the 5.8. And that way we can stay clean and hopefully.
Hmm.
Yeah, Chris Hope said he learned his lesson 2 years ago. I was there with him when that happened. So
Never
yeah,
told me, right?
that was a hard one there because he had I think that was a brand new drone,
Yeah.
or at least fairly new, and he had right much wrapped up into that one. And it was a nice drone too.
Yeah, and John, to your point, dual band, that's what makes, the DJIs give them that freaking long range stuff, that low frequency penetration, long distance. But if you're up close, it's going to step all over the 5.8.
That's
So,
true.
you,
That's true.
so, and obviously channels 1, 3, 5, um, drop down to 25 megahertz. Yeah, that helps if you have a lot of flyers.
Chris Chris said listening to the BS was most fun for me.
Oh, shit.
Chris, I was watching Chris from time to time. He was kicked back in the chair, having a refreshment of whatever kind he was having at the time, and he was just sitting there looking around, taking it all in, and that was pretty cool.
Well,
Bob was doing the same thing, right? Bob was kicked back. He was just taking it all in. He watches everybody, and then
He
he's
was
got
waiting on everybody, man. Oh,
to
come on, Jenna, you can do that. Go over
That's
there
right.
and go through
Go
that
through the
hoop.
pipe. Yep, go through the pipe. I
You
remember
can
hearing
do the double hoop.
Now, Brad, you're saying that, and the only thing I mean, what comes to mind is like South Florida drone meetup on a beach with a fire on the beach. Everybody's got pina coladas or something.
Yeah. I'm ready. I'm
Oh,
ready. I'm ready. No drones have to be involved at all. I'm ready.
Isn't that the truth? Yep. Isn't that the truth?
That would be great. We'll do that next year in April. We'll make sure we do an evening thing at the beach somewhere.
that'd be nice,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah, we should do
Yeah.
that. That would be a great gathering.
I mean, yeah, like I know we go to, like Uncle Bill's, but but still, I mean, Thursday night, I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Thursday or Saturday night or wherever. I mean, I know people like to
Saturday?
get together
Yeah.
for meals at the end of
Yeah.
Saturday. Yeah, we'll figure out something.
Well, I can't believe the hours gone by
I know.
already.
It's been
It,
great. We
it,
had a lot
you
of
know, we kicked off a little late, and we're 1 minute over right now. But Rick, thanks for coming by. Jenna, Brad, man, always good to have you guys have a good conversation about geeking out with drones, and the latest toys to geek out with.
we're all a bunch of nerds.
Yeah, nerding out. And then we'll have our good buddies virtually joining us. And thank God we get together and meet every once in a while, right? It's real pleasure. Real pleasure.
Chris said I hung with Wiseman, Rick, Scott, Bob, and Brad. Thanks, Chris. I appreciate you including me in that group of
Yeah, very
fine
good.
people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not sure how Scott fits in there, but
Did
I'm kidding. Scott.
you say that out loud, Rick?
Scott's laughing behind the screen
Yeah.
right now. You know he's cracking
And
up.
so, Scott has helped me break out of my shell or whatever, because I would go to these events and
I remember that, Rick.
I remember that. I remember that.
yeah, I would go and just move from group to group and
Yeah.
listen and observe and then this past April in Florida, then
Stop
Scott.
right there because I felt really guilty last South Florida drone meetup when I saw you, and you were looking at me, and I was sharing the goggles with somebody, and I noticed you were watching us, and I had the opportunity to say, hey, you want to do a fly along, and I didn't ask you. I don't know why I didn't ask you, but I remember thinking about it when I got home. I go, why didn't I ask that gentleman to come join me? And this time when I met, I made it a point to hang out with you, and it was truly, truly, I mean, fun.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I
Rick.
didn't have the opportunity that I had last time. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, Rick.
It's
Rick's all right.
enjoyable to when we talk with each other we realize how much we really have in common.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Right.
Not even. I mean, even when it goes beyond the drones, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. There's a lot of things. Everybody. I mean, I think it's. Jonathan is in the chat a lot. Jonathan, he's on Johnny's show a lot, and he talks about family all the time, and how we're all family, and that's true. It's a big drone family, and we all feed off of each other. We all help each other. We all do whatever it takes. If somebody's in need, I think it's a very small percentage of the folks that I know in the drone community that I wouldn't want to talk to, but I even try to be cordial and polite even with those folks. I mean, it's a very, it's like less than 1%. But I know that everybody out there, if I could call anybody and say, hey, I need this or this, and people have sent me stuff without me even asking. Jim's droning, he sent me the motion controller to get me started with the Avata. I got that going, and then Rodney Bell bought me an RC, a FPV RC for the Avata after I got the Avata, so I can fly manual. So there's a lot of good folks, and I know there's other things that people have given.
Oh yeah, I mean we can go on and on and on.
I can go on and on and on, and
Yeah.
stickers. I mean, just trading, and I don't want to say this lightly, but silly stickers. They're not silly, but I got stickers that I cherish. I got that's a bad word right there. We don't want that on our show. but I got stickers all over the place. But I want to say this, and I've said it before, and I say this because it's family. I love everybody in the community. So there it is.
All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up. It's 8:05, and we're stepping over 5 minutes here. So, Rick, once again, thanks for joining us. And is this your first live stream, by the way?
Well, I was on once with Johnny Drone
Oh,
Flyer
good.
for a little bit. So yeah, I don't do this very often. So I
Well,
think
it's
this
a
is my
pleasure.
second one, but it was enjoyable.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very
Oh,
good.
Rick,
I'm
you
so
did
glad.
great, man. I hope we can have you
Yeah,
back
man.
on
Well, join us again, man. It's always a pleasure hanging out with you. I mean, even, in person is even better, but virtually, let's do it. Jenna,
Yeah.
it's always a pleasure having you co-host and Brad triple host.
Yep.
Yep.
Thank
So much fun,
you.
and
Yep.
it looks like Robbie might start back up next week on Monday. We'll see. We're finally started talking to Robbie, and he's been going through, some stuff. So he'll share that when he's ready.
Okay.
So he's had some stuff going on in his life that he's trying to take care of that takes priority, and we prioritize flying drones pretty high in our, shall we say, off time. But there's other things in life more important.
Well, I will say this: Johnny's kept us on the list of shows on his schedule, so we're
Oh,
still
thank
on there for
you.
for every other week. So we'll definitely try to start making. We missed a couple of them leading up to Minefield, and we're going to try to get back in the regular groove of things every other Monday for the Duranafy show.
Yep.
All right, with that said, wave goodbye, everybody. Have a good night, guys. Thanks again.
Rick, don't hang up yet.
Okay.
Yep. See you guys.